Dollar. Dirt and money, no soul. Had to go and get it, ain't no time to kick it. Got a stack and flip for my foes. Dollar. Please tell me you can hear me. Don't turn your back and don't neglect me. Just let me know if you need me. Dollar. Let me watch out for my partners. Keep my money long, get my team strong. Let me run away from my problems.
Yo, still original.
Ooh. I tried to do it like you know.
Oh, shit.
You know how you be like messing up and stuff? I tried to do it like that.
Oh, baby, no. We don't go there. It's your boy DJ New Kid, your girl.
Sierra Nicole.
Back on the channel with another
Kid and C original.
What was all that?
Love festive.
No, I gotta stay on rhythm. I'll be telling you. I be telling you, be trying to stay on rhythm. It's all good. If you ain't got no rhythm, it's cool, man. It's cool.
Whatever.
Welcome back to the channel, man. We got a good one for y'all today, man. We got court scenes so bizarre you won't believe they actually happened. Did I read it correctly? Because you know you be trying to come for me.
No, I don't.
Shit. But with that being said, man, hey, y'all know, hopefully y'all in for the courtrooms same way we are. I'm here for the ignorance, you know what I'm saying, or what we used to call the ignorance. Like I'm here for all of it, man. Just the stupidity when it comes down to the justice system, man. So with that being said, before we get into it, make sure you check out the links in the description box down below. You already know where to go. If you want to further support, all the information you need is down below. Also, we always got to take this time and salute to the comment of the day.
Salute to you.
We highly appreciate it. One be a Kid and C original. We'll highlight y'all first. But also, if you enjoyed today's video, leave a like on the video. We appreciate that as well. But as always, we got court scenes so bizarre you won't believe they actually happened. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right.
Court is the most respected institution in the world. It's where people's entire futures are sometimes at stake. And when you enter one, you have to be on your best behavior. But the world has its fair share of odd people who can't act normal, even in the strict confines of a courtroom. Let's get to it to find out the top 10 court scenes so bizarre you won't believe they actually happened. Number 10. Mr. Wilkins. In 2008, Mr. Wilkins was in court for a felonious assault charge. He decided he wanted to represent himself in court, even when encouraged by the judge to get a lawyer. A few years earlier, he represented himself and was miraculously acquitted, despite having only an 8th grade education. So presumably he thought the same thing would happen. But it didn't. He was in the middle of questioning a police officer as part of his defense and knew he couldn't get away with it this time. So he tried to act his way out of it. He collapsed to the floor, faking a heart attack.
Your Honor, excuse me for a second. I need some time.
But this Academy Award-winning performance definitely didn't bode well with the judge. She had multiple police officers and medics check out Mr. Wilkins, and they all concluded he was completely faking it. After waking him up, she had some choice words for Mr. Wilkins.
You've been checked out by trained deputies who are medics. You've been checked out by a registered nurse as well as an emergency medical technician, all of whom indicate that there is nothing physically wrong with you, nor any reason why you couldn't continue here, sir.
Judge Hoffman ended his antics with a 42-year sentence. Maybe he'll use that time in jail to brush up on his acting skills. Number 9. Threatening the judge. Most of the time in court, you want to prove that you're innocent, especially if you're up for a murder charge. Let's just say Juan Rodriguez clearly isn't the brightest crayon in the box. During his arraignment for attempted murder charges for stabbing a nurse's assistant, he threatened someone's
Dang, Juan.
Exactly.
life in the courtroom. The judge.
Listen to me. You don't let me out of here, I'm gonna kill you. I'm a Jew. I'm gonna take your life if you don't let me out of here. Okay? I'm done. Now let's eat breakfast. The rabbi's cooking.
He demanded to be released from jail for Rosh Hashanah because of his Jewish background. However, instead of being polite, he hurled insults at the judge, threatening to kill her. Needless to say, she definitely did not side with him and ruled that he be held without bond for a first-degree attempted murder charge. Number 8. 2 women fall to the floor. Having a life sentence read out is definitely up there as one of the worst moments in someone's life. But for Erica Mae Butts and Shanita Latrice Cunningham, both convicted of killing a 3-year-old baby, their reaction was among the most bizarre.
You will get credit for any of the time that you've served. That will be
I think
Y'all might acting like that when y'all killed that baby.
I remember
But
that.
they might acting like that when they killed that baby. I'll be.
That is crazy.
If I was jail, but get your ass. Now, get your ass up acting like that in my courtroom. I don't want to hear none of this shit. Cause y'all ain't. Get your ass up. Bailiff, get him up out of here.
Butt's mother also had to be physically thrown out of the room because of her screaming. Who knew those courtroom chairs could come in so handy? They're currently serving a life sentence. Justice was served.
Amen.
Number 7. Franklin Williams won't shut up. Franklin Williams, accused of 3 armed robberies, definitely loves to talk. The judge in the first 20 seconds of his trial urges him not to speak and to let his lawyer speak for him. In fact, he decides to interrupt the judge so much to plead his case that the judge has no other options than to yell, "Zip it," to Mr. Williams. But he still doesn't get the point across.
I just met this attorney the other day.
That's fine. So
And
So here, yeah, so okay,
I came and took my cell phones yesterday, and they came and took all my property out my cell today.
Mr. Williams, I'm the judge in the matter. Shut your mouth, and I'll tell you when you could talk. You got it? So at this point, I'm going to hear from your lawyers, and that means zip it.
So in one of the most bizarre cases ever, the judge makes good on his threat by taping his mouth shut.
Why did they put it on there though?
That's what it is.
He definitely now understands what it means to have the right to remain silent, earning himself 24 years in prison. Number 6. Grabbing a gun. Remaining calm during sentencing is one of the most important aspects of being in court. In this case, Michael Fisher is calmly waiting for his sentencing to be given out. The judge reads that he has been found guilty of first-degree murder in the killings of his wife and son. The sentence he received is life in prison without parole. In that moment, he decides to take matters into his own hands. He punches Deputy Scott Eby and tries to remove an officer's handgun in hopes of escaping. While grabbing an officer's handgun may have seemed like a good idea in the moment, he soon realized it wasn't, and he should have just sat there like everyone else as he's tasered by officers. Michael's last words to the judge were, "I'm going to come back and get every last one that did something to me." Good luck, Michael. You're never getting parole. Number 5. Thumbs up. You're going to jail. Isabel Martinez isn't exactly your run-of-the-mill upstanding citizen. She's charged with 6 counts of aggravated assault and 5 counts of murder for killing her husband and 4 kids by stabbing. Only one of her offspring survives. The reaction of the woman on the left to her charges says it all.
10 counts of murder, which of course also is a felony. You have no bond on the murder charges. Only a superior court judge can even...
She like,
She's like, bitch, ain't that crazy?
She showed like, she like.
And then she got a smile on her face.
Bruh, you killed your husband and 4 kids. One of them survived, and you got a whole bunch of.
She said, what the fuck?
That's, bruh.
You have no bond on the murder charges. Only a superior court judge can even consider bond on that. You are entitled to have a hearing to consider you for bond within 30 days.
The judge asks her if she has any job, which she replies no, and then when he urges her to get an attorney, she completely refuses. The strangest part is that this woman seems super happy about the killings and even more excited that she has a life sentence. She gets on the ground, bowing out of nowhere, confusing the entire court. It seems she loves having the attention and the cameras on her, smiling proudly and touching her outfit as if she's famous. She gives her sentence a big 2 thumbs up.
People that you're in the courtroom with here, the people in the holding cell, the people in your pod, if you speak to them about your case, you create another witness for the state.
So far, she's escaped the death penalty and is awaiting trial for life in prison. The court is still waiting to deem if she's mentally stable enough to have a trial. Do you think she's mentally stable? Number 4. Penelope Soto. Penelope Soto is very charming when she's in court. On a charge of drug possession, she goes on about how much jewelry she owns and laughs whenever the judge is talking. But the judge reminds her that this is a court, not a club.
How much would you say your jewelry is worth? It's not a joke, you know, we're not in a club now.
And things take a turn for the worse for her as she makes fun of the judge's accent, saying adios when she leaves.
Bye-bye.
Adios.
For this, the judge changes her charge from $5,000 to $10,000. She is livid, walking away, flipping the bird, and telling the judge to f*** off. At this point, the judge has had enough. He brings her back, finds her in direct criminal contempt, and orders her to spend 30 days in the county jail for that outburst. This girl was obviously never taught to respect authority.
Did you say
Yes,
me?
Actually, I
Did you say that?
Yes, sir.
Oh, you did say that?
I'm not
I find you in direct criminal contempt. 30 days in the county jail.
Sadly, in a later hearing, the judge dropped the $10,000 fine along with the 30 days in jail and sent her to drug court instead because she apologized.
My behavior was very irrational, and I apologize not only to the court and you, but to my family.
Number 3. Judge Kianaillard. Judge Kianaillard is in the middle of sentencing Amanda Cosal for a DUI which resulted in the death of a young man. Things seem to be going completely smoothly until a man and a woman can't stop laughing at the back of the courtroom gallery. The judge reminds everyone that this is a court of law and is not a joke. There's a family grieving the loss of a loved one, mourning over her tragically being taken away, and these two people keep laughing.
I don't know who he is, but whoever can sit here at a tragic moment like this and laugh and smile when somebody has lost a family member. I mean, the entire time that Mr. Zerker's sister was speaking, that clown, and that's what I'm going to call him, a clown, was sitting there smiling and laughing, that you can go to. Because if you don't know how to act, you can go to jail. So leave.
But it didn't stop there. On her way out, the woman adds some backchat to the mix, landing herself 93 days in jail.
Anybody that can sit there and laugh and smirk when somebody, take her, she's going in the back. She's going in the back. Anybody else want to go? You can go too.
For speaking out of turn in a courtroom, she was charged for criminal contempt. Not only was Amanda sentenced to 3 to 15 years in jail, her friend was sentenced for 93 days, on a day when she wasn't even the one on trial. Sadly, she only spent a night in jail, but it must have taught her a lesson. The courtroom is no place to joke around.
Hey, them DUI vehicle manslaughter, that shit be like, them people don't get no time.
It's so infuriating.
Number 2, Mr. Jones. Everyone has their own way of reacting in a courtroom. Usually it results in standing in silence, crying, looking to your loved ones. But in Mr. Jones's instance, it resulted in one of the most bizarre reactions in court ever. He was on trial for possession of a weapon used in a violent crime and of murdering a cop when this happened.
Are you currently employed?
No.
Do you want me to screen you for an attorney?
No.
You gonna hire your own?
I don't need one.
Mr. Jones, I never advise anyone to go into court regardless of the charge without an attorney. Do you want to be screened for an attorney?
I don't care.
Mr.
Jones.
I don't know if the biting and growling is an intimidation technique, but whatever makes you feel better, Mr. Jones. Look at the guard's face next to him. This is a state where the death penalty exists, and everyone has their own way of dealing with stress. While this was his preliminary hearing, Jones was sentenced to life in prison without parole. Before we get to number 1, here's an honorable mention. In a Miami courtroom.
Now I just wonder, like, if they like, was he acting like that before he got in there, or was he acting like it afterwards? And is he really acting, or was that just, you know what I'm saying?
Who knows?
I want to do some follow-up behind.
Lawrence Patrick Sullivan, a 29-year-old man, was convicted of carrying a concealed firearm. He showed up for his trial with green hair, pale skin, tattoos on his face, looking a lot like the Joker. He may have been confused if it was Halloween or not.
I mean, you can represent me, but I'm trying to get bonded out, my honor.
Well, they're there to help you, sir. You don't have a lawyer.
All right.
I mean, okay, so.
I didn't feel like signing the paperwork. I'm really not in the mood for that.
When he was arrested, officers patted Lawrence down and found a .380 pistol in one of his pockets. He didn't have a permit because the gun was too expensive. His bail was set at $5,000. That isn't too bad for a villain trying to escape the Batman. Hopefully he won't have to go to Arkham Asylum for a long time. Number 1. Michael Maron. This man lived a life most would dream of. He was a millionaire, having traveled the world, traded in complex investments, and led an all-around lavish life. That was until he bought a mansion he couldn't afford and got into lots of debt. To escape his troubles, he decided to burn the house down, but his home insurance provider got suspicious and investigated it. Turned out he escaped the fire in a scuba tank and mask and plotted the whole thing. Whilst being tried for arson and for incident, it loomed on him that it could lead to decades in prison. As the verdict was being read, he placed his hands over his mouth, looking distraught. But secretly, he slipped a pill in his mouth. Soon, chaos ensued. Turns out he poisoned himself with cyanide as soon as the guilty verdict was read. What do you think he was thinking in his final thoughts? Soon after, he went into convulsions and died on the courtroom floor, leaving his wife and 4 kids behind. This is very similar to Slobodan Praljak, a wartime commander of Bosnia who drank poison at the UN due to his crimes against humanity. In both of these cases, the men could not live with the thought of going to jail for the rest of their lives. What do you think?
That's just weird, bro.
That's crazy. It's beyond crazy.
No, man. That's weird. Weird energy, weird vibes.
What?
I was just gonna say possibly he committed suicide because maybe he had he was like they'll be able to make some money, financial. He'd be able to
you think he committed suicide for his family?
Yeah, you never know because a lot of situations like that, people do commit suicide for the family so they can be able to.
Yeah, because we don't know if he had some type of insurance policy or something.
That's what I'm saying, or because he was like, I can't take care of y'all behind bars, so.
That was his way of
Yeah. I don't know. Y'all let me know what y'all thoughts and opinions about that one. Those were some crazy moments, but as always, y'all know how it go, man. I do go by the name DJ. This is we are.
Had to go and get it, ain't no time to kick it. Got a stack of flip for my folks. Dollar. Please tell me you can hear me. Don't turn your back